This is just a quick video for making past exams in the humanities subjects, basically just so we've got consistency across all exam papers. So if we look at our layout here, what we want to do is one folder for level 1, 2 and 3, and then we create a series of subfolders for each exam paper. So I'll put the module code here and the general name of the exam paper. And then you want to follow this layout with starting with a have a go list, which is a general, basically we're just copying the questions from the exam into a question mode so students can have a go at making the essays themselves. And then we go through to giving achieved, merit and excellence examples, and a list about the paper, which is where you can include tips for writing essays, that sort of thing. So for each list we want to make sure that it is in exercise mode. And this just means that it will store the student's answer to go back to. Students can flick back and forward through questions just like an exam paper, and it will also remove the time clock for that. Cool, so before we start making questions we need to get a few documents up. So if you go onto the NCQA homepage, click on Students, Subjects, Geography or History. I'm going to use Geography as an example, but same process for History. And then whatever exam you're after. And if we go to view all documents, you can view a series of documents online. The ones we want are this one, the past exam script, which is a model answer from a student. Normally you've got 2 examples for each level. Basically just choose which one is most representative of that level, or the one with the most feedback that is most useful for us. We also want this here, which is the past exam paper put online, and the assessment report. This is where we will be drawing our advice from for the explanations and what students can do to improve their answer, because this has been written by assessors for what students have done right/wrong. And we're also going to be drawing on this because each question is given a grade, for example A3 or A4, and that will correspond to what they've done to achieve that grade. Cool. So if we have a look at the have a go list, basically you want to follow this exact format because this is made identical to the exam paper pretty much, so students get used to what they're seeing in the exam, and we still just want to keep it consistent. We want each question to have the shortened module code in brackets here, and you can find that online on NCQA, and you want that for each question because if we're making about 10 different cover papers, you need to know which one you have to find. So looking at the cover paper one, if we look to the past exam, you'll see it's pretty much identical. Level 1 Geography 2013, module code, WE description, which we can see perfectly in here, credits, you're advised to spend 1 hour answering your chosen question in this booklet, that sort of thing. And we want to screenshot this. If you end up with a bit of white background, just make it transparent, and we want to insert that in there. Then if we scroll down on the actual exam paper, you'll notice that it's got a WE planning stage here, and we include this exactly in the essay planner. So literally just copy and paste the text into here, and then I'll go into how to make it. Basically the answers we're going to be using are long answers, so if you click in here, then this is what will come up, and you just give it a logical component ID. If you want a minimum number of words, for example, that's quite often required that students have to write at least 250 words, whatever, you can put that in, or you can choose not to, whatever works. In this case we want initial text because if you look here it's got that text like that, and we're looking to duplicate that. So I've got that in here. You don't need to use keyword highlighting at this stage because we're just getting students to get in there and start writing essays. So whatever they put in, it will be marked as correct at this stage. Cool. And you don't have to worry about the explanation tab because seeing as the student's answer will be marked as correct, they're not going to see this. So now we go down in the exam paper, and it's good to have a good read through this, see what the format of the exam is, how many questions there are, what sort of things they have to do first. And so starting with question 1, what I've done is include a resource slide which includes that geographic concepts and the essay question. So again, just make that transparent in GIMP and insert it in. And then we move on to the actual questions. If we look at part 1 for question 1, it says to draw a fully annotated diagram. Obviously we can't do that within Education Perfect, but what we can do is say, hey, on a separate piece of paper, draw a fully annotated diagram, and it's not going to, it'll automatically mark the students right, but students can actually get out their bit of paper and still do the diagram like they're doing their own exam. Cool, so this is the first proper question, I guess. It says, fully explain the natural process that operate to produce your named extreme natural event. And if we go into here, then it looks exactly the same with the question and extra information. And what we've done here is split it up into different components rather than having the whole essay, getting students to write the introduction first, then explain the natural process, then write a conclusion. I reckon that breaks it down for the students so it's not just a massive blank text box. And if there is a scroll bar, which there will be in quite a lot of cases, you need to remember to write scroll down. And you just do that basically and read wherever you need to scroll. Perfect. Now if we move on to the second question, it all follows the same format really. Here there are 2 instances of resources that we need to include. So we put that in the resource slide, just like so. And then part B was an essay, which is exactly worded from the exam paper. So we'll put that in, and same concept again, write your introduction, insert a long answer, explain how your extreme event has affected the cultural environment, insert another one, and insert another one. Then question 3, I'll actually open this because this wasn't initially available. I know maybe it was. If the image is not initially available, you can often follow a link to find it, and then just attribute where you found it from to make sure we are not plagiarizing anything, which is great. And as you will see for question 3, we've got a little bit of initial text there, so we've included that in the long answer components just to make it more authentic. And that's literally all you need to do for the have a go list. So once students have completed that, they've essentially written their own essay and they're ready to go, and then we can show them some exemplars, which is when we're getting a bit more in depth. So we'll have a look through the achieved one quickly. Again, you want to follow this exact format. So student achieved exemplar, we just need to put this bit in here to recognise that the following slides show a student's exam paper, so therefore the facts and figures might not be accurate. We're just saying that it's here to show you an example of someone who's achieved that grade. And we've got that same layout before, so Level 1 Geography 2013, demonstrate geographic understanding, blah blah blah, and we've put that in there. And then we've got this little bit at the bottom that says this list includes, and we've got achieved level answer, working space for your idea, and explanation based on the marking schedule. Cool, so if we look at question 1, first of all we put question 1A because it's split into parts, and we've put the question in here and a text box around it. And then we're writing the following text, look at this exemplar achieved level diagram, and scroll down again. Now we've literally taken this off the site. Where are we? Yep, here we go. So we've screenshot this, which is an example of student's answer, and put it in the space there. And then we insert another long answer component where we ask the students, what are your thoughts on this diagram? What's good and what could be improved? And that's not marked. Is it marked? It might be marked. We'll see. Cool. Yep, so there is an explanation tab. And in the explanation we can give tips, and we do that by, not by that, if we scroll down far enough, hopefully, cool, here we go. This is these are comments from assessors, so we can include part of that into the explanation tab. So we can put what the student's done well first, so create a label diagram showing natural processes, and then in order to improve this diagram the student needs to do this, this and the next thing, which is based on assessors' comments, and it's also based on this here and the marking schedule here. Cool. And now when we get to the essay stage, just ignore this bit because we're taking this out now, but what you want to do is type out the student's answer. We're not going to include that initial, like their original work, because it's probably not that relevant. But again, we've got the question in there. Look at this example answer. We'll have this typed up and then ask students what are your thoughts on the answer. And if we go into the explanation tab again, it's just, yeah, it's all following the same format with what they've done well. However, they haven't done this. In order to improve their essay, they need to do this, this and this, which again is based on those documents. So it all follows this layout. And then at the end, after you've gone through all of the questions, you want to include markers' comments. And this is literally just typing out what we saw in this bit here. So typing out those bits. And then adding the grades in. So for question 1, we can see students received an A4. Question 2, A3. Question 3, N2. And then the overall grade was a low achieved. And I've inserted a link, which you can just do up here. And you say you can read about what these numbers mean here. And if we click on here, it will take us to the assessment schedule, hopefully. Yep, there we go. So students can look at what these numbers mean and how their answer was calculated, which is achievement 8 to 13. Perfect. So that is all you need to do to create a past exam. And if we keep it all within this format, then it's going to be really easy for students to become familiar with exams for one, and just makes it easier for us. And that is essentially all I've got to say on the matter. So have a good night.